I don't even know what to say. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. If you know what it feels like as a Met fan, and you know exactly where I'm going with this, when it rains, it most definitely pours. When it rains, it pours. This was supposed to be the season. This was supposed to be the year where things are going to start to come together, start to turn around a little bit for this Mets franchise. They go out there, they bring in, of course, Max Scherzer on a 3-year deal. They improve the lineup. They add some a little more consistency in the lineup with guys like Escobar and Matt Canna and Sterling Marte. And that all remains to be seen whether that actually does play out or not. And ironically, today I was actually going to shoot my video talking about some of the big keys to the season, the biggest keys to this Mets season. And one of the big keys to the 2022 season I was going to talk about was this: health of the starting rotation. Well, that has all been compromised at this point, as we now have not only one, but now two major. I don't even know what to say. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. Not just one, but two major injuries. Two, Jacob deGrom, and now Max Scherzer is hurt too. I just can't believe this. I mean, you got to be kidding. Of course, with deGrom suffering the sideline with the stress reaction in his shoulder blade, we don't know how long he's going to be out, deGrom. Let's just be serious here. The reports, of course, initially indicating on Friday evening were that deGrom was going to be out for at least 4 weeks with this stress reaction in the back of his shoulder. And, of course, if you look at history, okay, and you look at the history of this injury, you don't have to look too far. 2014, Michael Wacha, then with the St. Louis Cardinals, had a similar injury. He was out for 2.5 months. 2.5 months. And here we are with the Mets, about to begin this 2022 season. And no Jacob deGrom now for at least 4 weeks. Probably going to be longer than that. And it brings up a lot of questions about deGrom's, not just his health right now, but the fact that he continues to have numerous issues trying to stay healthy for the last couple of years. Of course, last year had a terrific start to the season, was brilliant to start the season, 7-2, had a 1.8 ERA, was on his way to getting a third Cy Young award, and then all of a sudden, all these issues start propping up with his forearm, with his elbow. Then there was some fear that even though he had all those MRIs, nothing showed up, but he still couldn't pitch second half of the year. And then you had Sandy Alderson come out there and say that there was a inflammation around the UCL. And as soon as you mention UCL, we all know what that means. Oh my God, here we go with Tommy John surgery. And it was revealed that it was a partial tear, but not enough for that to signal that surgery was required. So deGrom, who of course has had the Tommy John procedure already in his career, didn't pitch at all the rest of the season. And the hope was now you're going to have Jacob deGrom coming back to be the guy we saw the first half of last year. You're going to put him in the rotation with Max Scherzer. This has the potential to be the best rotation in baseball just with those two guys together. And you add, of course, with Chris Bassett, who had a great year last year with the Oakland A's. You have Taijuan Walker, who was an all-star at the start of the year last year with the Mets. Carlos Carrasco trying to get back to where he was a few years ago with Cleveland. And now you have those guys together. You think, man, this has a chance to be one of the best rotations in baseball. That was the opinion of a lot of people. Now you can't say that. And now with this additional story that has come out regarding Max Scherzer, who is also dealing with hamstring tightness, and there is question whether he will be ready now for opening day, told reporters that he first felt the issue a few days ago and that it flared up while preparing to pitch a simulated game on Saturday, and he describes himself as day to day. And if you're a Met fan, you got to be sitting there wondering, what else could go wrong? What else could go wrong? This was the biggest issue for the Mets coming into the year. And the Mets had a lot of questions. Look, every team has questions. And the Mets certainly had their fair share of questions as far as, did this team do enough as far as getting help in the bullpen? They are very right-handed dominant in the bullpen, no left-handers. They there was a lot of question about whether the Mets had enough in their lineup. A lot of people thought they needed another bat, maybe even another left-handed bat in their lineup. They really didn't find anybody that they could bring in to help this offense out even further. So, yeah, from that standpoint, we all understand that rosters, from that standpoint, over the course of a 162 game season, is an unfinished product. But the biggest concern, the number one concern, the number one key to the season was going to be health of this rotation, and we can't say that anymore. We can't say that anymore. And you have to wonder with deGrom, with all these injuries that I mentioned just earlier, is this guy ever going to get back to being who he was? Is he ever going to be that Cy Young pitcher again that he once was? And that's a big question right now. You hope he can be. And from the Mets standpoint, the Mets need him to come back at some point and be close to being that guy. But when you keep adding up all these injuries, and they're all arm injuries, it really have to sit there and wonder. And I remember last year people were saying, maybe he's throwing too hard. Maybe the velocity is, coming out 99, 100 miles an hour consistently as he was at the start of the year last year. Maybe that finally came back to bite him. That was part of the problem with his arm injuries last year. I'm not sure. But the consistent issues he has had makes you wonder how much longer you can sit there as the Mets expecting him, Jacob deGrom, to be a big-time superstar pitcher, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. So that's also going to play. That also not only affects what the Mets are thinking, but also affects what deGrom can do for himself in the open market at the end of this year. So right now, you're looking at, I guess we're looking at Chris Bassett starting on opening day, maybe even Taijuan Walker starting opening day next Thursday for the New York Mets. Oh man, it's frustrating, man. It really is frustrating. About to embark on the season, and all Met fans had a lot of high hopes going into this year. Everyone did. First full year of now into the second full year of Steve Cohen as the owner. Very aggressive on the market this year. They did a lot to try to improve this team this year. They brought in Buck Showalter, one of the better managers in the game, to manage this team for this year. And now this happens. And also keep in mind, even the division itself has improved in a lot of areas. Atlanta, yes, they do lose Freddie Freeman, but they really subtract an older player, a little bit older, for a much younger player, Matt Olson, who is also a left-handed hitter with a lot of power at first base. Even the rest of that team all looks the same from last year. Philadelphia going out there getting Nick Castellanos, as well as Kyle Schwarber in the middle of their lineup to put there with Bryce Harper. I mean, my goodness, that's going to be a monster lineup there for Philadelphia. Then you see the Nationals, who I don't think will be very good, but they bring in Nelson Cruz to be DH. So that'll be interesting to see as well. So the division still got a lot of good players all around it, in addition to what the Mets did as far as trying to beef up their starting rotation, which now is an issue. We'll see if the Mets try to do something to try to trade for another pitcher. I don't know what you're going to be able to get at this point, as we start the season. Teams kind of like what they have right now. I don't know what you're going to get as far as finding pitchers that are still available in the market, for that matter. But the Mets are going to have to look for more starting pitching. You can never have enough, because that's the only way they can get through the start of the season. Hopefully Scherzer, his hamstring stops barking in a couple of days, and he can pitch opening day. Remember, in fact, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny about this is that just a few days ago, when it came out that Apple TV was going to start streaming Major League Baseball games on Friday, and that was going to include next Friday's game between the Mets and the Nationals that Scherzer was supposed to originally start. Well, you don't have to worry about that at all, because either he's going to pitch opening day or not at all at this point. I can't imagine him not pitching next week if he's going to next weekend anyway. If he can't pitch on Thursday night, we'll see what happens. You want to talk about other keys to the season? We like to see offensively. Francisco Lindor, what can he do as far as, picking up where he's left off here in spring training? Has had a great spring training, hitting over 400. He needs to have a big season this year. There's no question about that. He needs to have a big year in a lot of ways. Can guys like Jeff McNeil step up and have a bounce-back year? Dom Smith, if the Mets don't trade him at some point, can he have a bounce-back year this year? And can the Mets and how do some of these guys that they've picked up, like Matt Canna, Sterling Marte, how do they fit into this lineup? And can they be consistent enough hitters that can help this team produce runs consistently and win consistently? And as I mentioned, the bullpen, no left-handed hitters in that bullpen at all. What's going to happen as far as the use of that pen, how Buck Showalter is going to manage that bullpen, is going to be a big, big question. You know that Adam Ottavino and Trevor May are going to get a lot of innings, for that matter, throughout the course of this season. So that's where we are, folks. The 2022 season's about to begin, and it doesn't feel as good as it did just about a week ago. Yeah, pretty much. A week ago, we were getting. You had deGrom and Scherzer both pitching in the same game. Now both are out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Leave your comments below, folks. Tell me what you think. How do you feel as we about to begin the season? Remember, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you next time.